My question is, if you look at last 1 or 2 decades, the media has taken different turns in terms of publication on all other aspects. So what's going to be the future in next 1 or 2 decades?
Okay, I don't know if I'm the right person to answer this, but then I've been following social media. As you said, from past at least 10, 15 years, we've seen gradual shift. People people had a lot of hope on media. I think pre-2014 or pre-WhatsApp era, pre-WhatsApp era, people thought, okay, anything you see on WhatsApp, anything you see on news is actually true. And जो भी कोई whatever they receive on WhatsApp, even if it is news channel, even if it is related to a video by news anchor, they would forward it because even we thought anything which is said on TV would be true. But of late, say after 2012-13, we slowly started seeing news anchors inviting people from a different background who are not well versed with the topic. Just because they think they can get they can get more TRP. For example, they invite Maulanas, they invite sadhus, they think who can maybe probably fight and give more TRPs. This is what has been happening. This is actually started by Arnab Goswami in 2015-16. That is when he shifted from Times Now to Republic. So because he wanted more and more viewerships, and this he thought was the best idea to do so. And I mean, this was followed by several other journalists, not journalists, I would say TV presenters. It was followed by several other TV presenters, and it has been continued, and which has now been, which is probably one of the reasons why a lot of journalists have quit journalism, and they have started their own news channels, independent news channels. Ajit Anjum. I mean, I'm sure, I'm not very sure about how it is here in Karnataka, but in national level, I'm sure there are a lot of, for example, Ravish Kumar, Ajit Anjum, and many others, Punya Prasoon Joshi, and many others. Ravish Kumar, yeah, I just told Ravish Kumar. So, I mean, people, for now, if you see, people are more interested. I would also want to bring one more point. When I was arrested in 2022 by Delhi police, and I was regularly taken to UP police in a van. So, I was being taken, say, 3-4 times. During that, my conversation with the police personals, every time I go, I tend to interact with them, say, because it's a long journey, I have to interact with them. So my interaction would usually be about politics, like whom do you follow, as in which anchors do you follow, what news do you consume. So I would say out of 10, 9% would say they would follow Ravish Kumar because he is doing what he has to, what an actual journalist has to do. He is doing what we need. I mean, it is not about Hindu-Muslim debates. It is not about unrelated things which has no scope. I mean, he talks about issues. He talks about jobs. I mean, which is why they like him. It's not because I'm talking about policemen. Out of 10, 9 policemen would say I mean, ideologically they may or may not like him, but they love his journalism because it is helping them. They're helping them to get more and more information about jobs, about unemployment, and about, say, GST, and many other things. So I'm sure there are a lot of people who have now started ditching the mainstream media, the mainstream anchors, and this probably is also, which is, I feel, why citizen journalism is also so important. There are, even in our case, alt news, I mean, though we are not into journalism initially, we are not from journalism background, this has actually taught us. So I think you will see more and more people coming into journalism, maybe active journalism, or maybe, say, a citizen journalist, or maybe more such things like how we have been doing. Yeah.
So, ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಜುಬೇರ್ ಅವರು ಬಹಳ ಮುಖ್ಯವಾದ ವಿಚಾರಗಳನ್ನು ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಒಟ್ಟು ಜರ್ನಲಿಸಮ್ ಲೋಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗ್ಬೋದು ಅಂತ. ಬಟ್ ಅದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ದಾಟಿ ಇನ್ನೂ ಕೆಲವಿದೆ. ಉದಾಹರಣೆಗೆ ಜನ ಅತ್ಯಂತ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ವಿಡಿಯೋ ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇರೋದು ನ್ಯೂಸ್ ವಿಡಿಯೋಸ್ನಲ್ಲ, ಎಂಟರ್ಟೈನ್ಮೆಂಟ್ನ ಸಿಕ್ಕಾಪಟ್ಟೆ ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಎಂಟರ್ಟೈನ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಹೆಸರಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಬರ್ತಿದೆ ಅದು ಕೂಡ ಮನುಷ್ಯರನ್ನು ತುಂಬ ಪ್ರಭಾವಿಸ್ತದೆ. ಸೊ ಈಗ ಬಿಗ್ ಬಾಸ್ ಥರದ ಒಂದು ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮ ಏನಿದೆ ಅದು ಸಮಾಜದಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿಯ ಮೌಲ್ಯಗಳನ್ನು ಸೃಷ್ಟಿ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ಮತ್ತು ಇವತ್ತು ನಾವು ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇರೋವಂಥ ತುಂಬ ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಥರದ ಸಿನಿಮಾಗಳು, ಅದರ ತುಣುಕುಗಳು ಮತ್ತು ಟಿ ವಿ ಸೀರಿಯಲ್ಸ್, ಇದು ಕುಟುಂಬದ ಒಳಗಿನ ಸಂಗತಿಗಳನ್ನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಭಾಳ ನೆಗೆಟಿವ್ ಮೌಲ್ಯಗಳನ್ನು ಈ ಟಿ ವಿ ಸೀರಿಯಲ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕೂಡ ಇದು ಮಾಡ್ತಿದೆ. ಸೊ ನ್ಯೂಸ್ಗಿಂತ ಇದು ಕೂಡ ತುಂಬ ಜನರನ್ನು ಪ್ರಭಾವಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಇದು ಹೆಂಗೆ ತೆಗೆದುಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ಸವಾಲಿದೆ. ಎರಡನೇ ಸವಾಲು AI ಬಳಕೆ ಇನ್ನೂ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗಲಿಕ್ಕಿದೆ. ಅಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಸೃಷ್ಟಿ ಆಗುವಂಥ ಬೇರೆ ರೀತಿಯ ವಿಡಿಯೋಗಳು, ನ್ಯೂಸು, ಇದು ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅನ್ನೋದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಾವು ಕಾದು ನೋಡಬೇಕಿದೆ. ಬಟ್ ಇನ್ ಎನಿ ಕೇಸ್ ಇದೊಂದು ತಲ್ಲಣದ ಸಂದರ್ಭ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಒಂದು ಟರ್ಮಾಯಿಲ್ ಒಂದು ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಆಗಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಇದೆ ಮುಂದಿನ ದಿನಗಳಲ್ಲಿ. ಮನುಷ್ಯ ಸಮಾಜ ಈಗಾಗಲೇ ಆ ಟರ್ಮಾಯಿಲ್ನ ಹಾದು ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಉದಾಹರಣೆಗೆ ಖಿನ್ನತೆ, ಡಿಪ್ರೆಷನ್, ಇದು ತುಂಬ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇದೆ. 1-to-1 eye-to-eye ಕಾಂಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಮೊಬೈಲ್ ಫೋನ್ಸ್ನ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಒಂದು ವರ್ಚುವಲ್ ಜಗತ್ತಲ್ಲಿ ತುಂಬ ಜನ ಬದುಕ್ತಾ ಇರುವಂಥದ್ದು ಇದೆ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಮುಂದಿನ 10-15 ವರ್ಷಗಳ ಕಾಲ ಒಟ್ಟಾರೆ ಮೀಡಿಯಾ ಜಗತ್ತು, ಅದು ಜರ್ನಲಿಸಮ್ ಲೋಕ ಮತ್ತು ಎಂಟರ್ಟೈನ್ಮೆಂಟು, ಸೋಷಿಯಲ್ ಮೀಡಿಯಾ, ಇದೆಲ್ಲವೂ ಕೂಡ ಅಗಾಧವಾದ ಬದಲಾವಣೆಗಳನ್ನು ಕಾಣಲಿಕ್ಕಿದೆ. ಇದು ಮನುಷ್ಯರ ಮನಸ್ಸಿನ ಮೇಲೆ ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ರೀತಿಯ ಪರಿಣಾಮ ಬೀರಲಿಕ್ಕಿದೆ. ಈಗಾಗಲೇ ಆ ರೀತಿಯ ಪರಿಣಾಮಗಳು ಶುರುವಾಗಿವೆ ಅಂತ ನನ್ನ ಅನಿಸಿಕೆ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಇದು ಯಾವ ಸ್ವರೂಪ ಪಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೋದು ಅನ್ನೋದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಾವು ಅದರ ಭಾಗವಾಗ್ತಾ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಆದಷ್ಟು ಅದರ ಪಾಸಿಟಿವ್ ಸೈಡ್ನ ಆ್ಯಂಪ್ಲಿಫೈ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ನಾವು ಹೋಗದೇ ಇದ್ದರೆ ನನ್ನ ಪ್ರಕಾರ ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ ಸೊಸೈಟಿ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಕೆಲವು ಬೇಸಿಕ್ ಚೇಂಜಸ್ನ ಮುಂದಿನ ದಿನಗಳು ಬರಲಿಕ್ಕಿದೆ ಅಂತ ನನಗನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ.
ಗುಡ್ ಈವ್ನಿಂಗ್. ವೆಲ್ಕಮ್ ಟು ಮೊಹಮ್ಮದ್ ಜುಬೇರ್, and I am the follower of edina.com. Really, very much I liked. And the mainstream media, they are not doing their job, and what the problem facing in our country, they are not covering. Only we are depending on social media and YouTube and some other small medias. How we can challenge this mainstream to making a strong media?
So, okay, I don't know what to answer for this, because जो mainstream media है, most cases, as I said, is being bought over by corporates. So they are now, I mean, I remember जैसे news channels जो NDTV था, many people started loving them for the work. जैसे it was taken over, people started quitting NDTV. And people who started abusing, even the journalists, I know many journalists who abused NDTV. Soon after the takeover, they have now joined NDTV. So it is, I don't know how that will, it is important, but then unless and until जब तक ये corporate clutches के अंदर है, independent नहीं रहेगा news channel. So I think आगे चल के citizen journalism वही ही एक ये है. And I think we need more and more independent news channels. Unfortunately, बहुत सारे जो news channels है are completely either dependent on the funds by the government or funds by the corporate या other चीज़. जब तक ये अलग नहीं होगा, you cannot expect any news channels to speak for you and me. So जो काम वो अगर उनको वहाँ से फ़ायदा पहुँच रहा है, तो why would they speak for you? They would speak for their owners. तो जब तक ये नहीं होगा, आई थिंक आई वुड नॉट सी एनी पॉजिटिव चेंज. बट अनफॉर्चुनेटली एक और चीज़ भी हुई है कि सोशल मीडिया हेड्स, नाउ फॉर एग्जांपल ट्विटर इज़ नाउ ओन्ड बाय पर्सन हु इज़ वेरी क्लोज टू ट्रम्प. एक्टिवली प्रोमोटेड ट्रम्प. एंड अभी तो ऐसा केस है कि इवन देयर वाज दिस जो रिसेंटली दो दिन पहले एक स्टेटमेंट आया था फेसबुक ओनर का. तो ही वॉज एक्चुअली एंटी ट्रम्प अंटिल रिसेंटली. जैसे ही ट्रम्प का ये हुआ, नाउ दैट ही इज कमिंग टू पावर, 2 दिन पहले मार्क जकरबर्ग, दैट इज फेसबुक का जो ओनर है, उन्होंने एक स्टेटमेंट जारी किया. उन्होंने अंटिल रिसेंटली दे वर सपोर्टिंग फैक्ट चेकर्स. दे वर पेइंग मॉनिटरिंग, जो भी पैसा थे, दे यूज्ड टू डोनेशन हो या ग्रांट के तौर पे, दे यूज्ड टू ग्रांट देते थे. दे वर लाइक एटलीस्ट 20 फैक्ट चेकर्स इन इंडिया एक्सेप्ट फॉर ऑल्ट न्यूज़. There were 20 odd fact checkers who would get grants from Facebook. जैसे ही अभी they've announced, because they were news channels जो भी अलग अलग थे, they also started having a separate unit for fact checking. Though they were not fact checking, but they wanted grants from the Facebook, so which is why they started creating fact check units, and they used to grant grants from them. And now all of a sudden, the Facebook came up with saying, okay, we're not going to fund anybody. We're not going to give grants to anybody. So जितने भी अब बहुत सारे जो fact checkers हैं, except for alt news and a few others, so they will not be able to survive because they employed people thinking, okay, यहाँ पे grant आ रहा है, we'll utilize यहाँ पे करेंगे, और जो भी है, you can utilize the money there. Now that they have stopped getting grants from the corporate, they have to somehow dismantle their fact checking unit. So which is one of the reason why we wanted people to support organizations who run on public fund. Yeah. So I mean that is the only way.
Hello.
I endorse 100% what Zubair said. Only one addition is ಈ ಮೈನ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರೀಮ್ ಅಂತ ನಾವು ಯಾವುದನ್ನು ಕರಿತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ, ಈ ಫಾರ್ಮುಲೇಷನಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಇದೆ. ಅಂದರೆ ದೇಶದ ಬಹುಸಂಖ್ಯಾತ ಜನರನ್ನ, ಮೆಜಾರಿಟಿ ಜನರನ್ನ ಪ್ರತಿನಿಧಿಸದೇ ಇರುವಂಥ ಒಂದು ಮೀಡಿಯಾನ ನಾವು ಮೈನ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರೀಮ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. ದೇ ಡೋಂಟ್ ರೆಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಫಾರ್ಮರ್ಸ್, ದೇ ಡೋಂಟ್ ರೆಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಮೈನಾರಿಟೀಸ್, ದೇ ಡೋಂಟ್ ರೆಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ದಲಿತ್ಸ್, ಆದಿವಾಸೀಸ್, ವಿಮೆನ್, ಏನೂ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಬಟ್ ಸ್ಟಿಲ್ ವಿ ಆರ್ ಕಾಲಿಂಗ್ ದೆಮ್ ಮೈನ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರೀಮ್ ಅಂತ. ಸೊ ಇದು ಏನಿದೆ, ಇದರ ಸುತ್ತ ಜನ ಅದನ್ನು ನಂಬ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಅಷ್ಟು ವಾಸ್ತವ ಅಲ್ಲ. 2023 ಎಲೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದ ರಿಸಲ್ಟ್ ಏನು ಬಂತು, ಆ ರಿಸಲ್ಟು ಇಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಕಮ್ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಮೀಡಿಯಾ, ಇಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಕಮ್ ಇನ್ ಸ್ಪೈಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಮೀಡಿಯಾ. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಸೇಮ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ ಈಸ್ ಟ್ರೂ ಫಾರ್ 2024 ಆಲ್ಸೋ. ಮೈನ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರೀಮ್ ಮೀಡಿಯಾ ಅಂತ ಯಾವುದನ್ನು ಕರಿತಿದ್ದೀವಿ, ಅವ್ರು ಹೇಳಿದ್ದನ್ನು ಜನ ನಂಬ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದರೆ 400ಕ್ಕೆ ಪಾರ್ ಆಗಬೇಕಾಗಿತ್ತು. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ದೇ ಟ್ರೈ ಟು ಪ್ರೊಜೆಕ್ಟ್. ದಟ್ ಡಿಡ್ ನಾಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಪನ್. ಸೊ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ದೇಶದ ಅಪೋಸಿಷನ್ ಪಾರ್ಟೀಸ್ದು ದೊಡ್ಡ ವೀಕ್ನೆಸ್ ಇದೆ, ಜನಸಾಮಾನ್ಯರದ್ದಲ್ಲ. ಜನಸಾಮಾನ್ಯರು ಅವ್ರದ್ದೇ ಆಗಿರುವಂಥ ರೀತಿ ಒಳಗಡೆ ತಮ್ಮ ಫ್ರಾಂಚೈಸಿನ ಎಕ್ಸಸೈಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಎಲೆಕ್ಷನಲ್ಲಿ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಆಗಿರೋ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಅವ್ರು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಇದನ್ನು ದಾಟಿ ಈಗ ಮೈನ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರೀಮ್ನ ಜನ, ಪೀಪಲ್ಸ್ ಮೂವ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಪೀಪಲ್ ದೆಮ್ಸೆಲ್ಫ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ರೀಕ್ಲೈಮ್ ದ ಮೈನ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರೀಮ್. ಇಲ್ಲದೇ ಇದ್ದರೆ ಯಾರು ನೇಷನ್ ವಾಂಟ್ಸ್ ಟು ನೋ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, ದೇ ಡೋಂಟ್ ರೆಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ನೇಷನ್, ದೇ ಆರ್ ನಾಟ್ ನೇಷನ್. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ನಾವು ನಮ್ಮ ಸ್ಲೈಡ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ಆಗಲೇ ತೋರಿಸಿದ್ವಿ ವಿಡಿಯೋದಲ್ಲಿ, ಜನಧನಿಯೇ ಮುಖ್ಯವಾಹಿನಿ ಅಂತ. ಪೀಪಲ್ಸ್ ವಾಯ್ಸ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಟು ಬಿ ಮೈನ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರೀಮ್. ಅಂದರೆ ಅನ್ಲೆಸ್ ದ ಪೀಪಲ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿಸ್ ನೇಷನ್ ರೈಸ್ ಅಗೇನ್ ಇನ್ ಅ ಆರ್ಗನೈಸ್ಡ್ ವೇ, ಇನ್ ಅ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ಯಾಟಿಕ್ ವೇ ಟು ರೀಕ್ಲೈಮ್ ದ ರಿಪಬ್ಲಿಕ್, ರೀಕ್ಲೈಮ್ ದ ಸ್ಪೇಸ್. ಇದು ಬರೀ ಮೀಡಿಯಾ ವಿಚಾರಕ್ಕೆ ಇರೋದಲ್ಲ. ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ಮೀಡಿಯಾ ಈಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಇನ್ ಐಸೋಲೇಷನ್, ಅದೊಂದು ದ್ವೀಪದ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರತ್ಯೇಕವಾಗಿ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಸಮಾಜ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೋ ಮೀಡಿಯಾನೂ ಅದೇ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ.
Excuse me. After the failure of the government, there are several failures is there. But still, why we are failing to actually to disclose all these things? Especially, we are telling about EVM. Even the last Maharashtra election also, they are telling EVM is fraud. But why it is not reaching to the public movement, Janandolan? But what we are telling, their IT cell is very strong. But why we can't do the best IT cell? Except the fascism, there are so-called other secular parties are there, and the public is there. But still, why it is not reaching to a movement? This is my question.
That is because, I mean, they've worked so hard from 2014, one political party, and then they've, let me give you an example. They are like, even in during recent election, there are like thousands and lakhs of Facebook, WhatsApp groups which they were involved in, and which is how it is easier for them to penetrate. I mean, I always say if BJP is using, I mean, those days we always used to say BJP is still under, Android, and other political parties are still using Symbian, that is the older software of which was used by Nokia. That is the difference between BJP, and they were very proactive in propagating fake news or maybe propagating whatever they have to propagate. And unfortunately, we are still, as you rightly pointed out, we are still in forming, maybe gathering and maybe trying to penetrate more and more people. And one of the reason is like we as individual organizations have been doing this, not political parties, but those political parties, for example, the BJP, the current BJP, have spent thousands of crores to penetrate into normal people. For example, I'll just give you a small example. I know a person in 2004. He was just a troll. He was a troll on Twitter. He used to abuse people for their views. And that person now runs a company. I would not want to name the company, and has tie-ups with current multiple governments, multiple state governments, BJP state governments, and they would get tenders for various other tenders for doing, for example, say for distributing blankets, for distributing food. And once the tender is released and they get the tender, they get the money, they'll share one of two photos of them sharing shawls or sharing food to the needy, and the rest of the amount, say I would say 99% of the amount, would be used for propagating falsehood. They would use to, for example, they hire influential Twitter people who are influential Twitter artists, people who are famous on YouTube, to amplify their content. Recently, I saw their website, because I've been following that website and how they've grown. That website had recently said by 2024, that is this year 2025, the net turnover would be around 400 crores. He was a simple troll who was abusing people on Twitter, and now he has just imagine, because he could mobilize people, he could gather people who could amplify the content by one particular party, and that person has he now claims to have, say, 400, he could gather 400 crore rupees. There are several such people who are being paid indirectly. So that is the way they have strengthened their. This is how easy it is for them to just say, if they have to post something, if they have to amplify something, within minutes, I would say not even hours, within minutes they can reach many other maybe they can also reach your home networks, home WhatsApp networks. That is how easy it is for them. And we, including the opposition, they could have done that, but then maybe no, not to that extent, but they could have tried. But then as an organizations, as individuals, as activists, it is not that easy for us to do it. By the time they spread the fake news, and by the time we fact check it and we verify it, we call the police, we call the victims, it would take 1 or 2 days. So that is how it is. It is not easy, but then yeah, I still have hope. People will slowly realize the fake code, which is why we've seen results also in recent elections. We all thought people in UP would give 80 odd seats to the current government. But the propaganda against the minorities, the fake propaganda about Mangalsutra, all that did not work there.
I have two questions. Number one is mainly the independent media, our civilians, media of our civilians, how to make them away from associating with any government. I mean, the support from opposition or any other party, to make them, relevant for everyone. Because the association, maybe, I don't blame anybody, but maybe this is the need of them to secure themselves or in any way. But how to make them away from supporting any particular party or taking the aid of any party XYZ. So independent means it should be truly independent in all ways. Second thing is, we have so many independent media houses, social media houses, handles. So many very rich people in followers are running different handles in Facebook and Twitter and different places. Why they are not collaborating? Why they are not collaborating? They don't make the collaboration. They don't make the network. They don't create a great platform for media. For example, Ravish Kumar, Ajit, they all have. I am supporting them to run their own independent media handle and houses to reach their people. But why they are not coming on one platform to reach the maximum people? They can create the alternative of mainstream media by this way, because we have so many people, not 1, 2 or 3, in different states we have. Thank you.
Sorry, the first question, bhul gaya main. Sorry. I forgot the first question.
How to make media
yes,
handles?
About the independent, okay. See, there are two things I see in here. One is about any government, any independent media should be truly independent. It should not probably collaborate as maybe with any government, be it opposition. Ye. But again, there are two things here. For example, we as Alt News were approached by a government here to be partners with for fact checks, for fact check partners. But we had a discussion, and when we decided we wanted to be truly independent. We cannot collaborate with any government, be it opposition, जो भी उनको लगता है, मतलब we did not collaborate. But we also gave them an option. If you want, maybe we can train people from, maybe if you can choose people, and we can train them, say for a month or so, how to do a fact check, how to gather the news. So that can be done. Matlab, we've not done that, but we gave an option. Maybe we'll not directly collaborate with any government. That is our stand. Not just the government, even the corporate houses. I mean, Facebook wanted to partner with us. We didn't want to. Because once you partner with the Facebook, we'll not be able to write against Facebook for what the misdoings, right? So which is why I feel independent media, or any media for that matter, should not partner with any government. But yeah, services, for example, मान लीजिए कोई, if they want services related to say surveys, services related to fact checks, कैसे उनको, how do, for example, they want fact checkers to train police personnel, fact checkers to train other professionals from their government. That can be done. It is just service based. Maybe it can be free, or maybe there can be cost involved, but that is like services. So that should be done, I mean, if needed, but not directly as a favor to the government amplifying their content. I would not believe that. So that is one thing. And second thing was about collaborating with YouTubers. You mean many independent journalists or maybe YouTubers collaborating? For example, let's suppose Ravish Kumar has say 30 lakh followers. Zubair has say 10 lakh followers. Many other have say 5 lakhs, 6 lakhs. What do you gain by collaborating? The same people watching these people again. For example, there are people who like Ravish Kumar who would watch Ravish Kumar. तो उनका अलग fan base है. If he is also मतलब वही data points उठा रहे हैं, for example, same things which has to be picked up. For example, जो journalism वो कर रहे हैं, you cannot expect everybody to do collab एक साथ में, क्योंकि उसमें finances भी involved हैं. You cannot expect everybody to just मतलब for the cause. उनके family भी है, and they also have their own interest. I mean, including all that, for example, there are a lot of people who use alt news work. It's not like ऐसा नहीं है कि none of our articles are behind the paywall, which is why there is no subscription model in alt news. It is just donation model. So anybody and everybody can use alt news content for republishing on their own news channels, on their own websites, they can still use it on their so for example on YouTube channels. So this is what I would say is collaboration. I mean, they have their own fan base. For example, यहाँ पे बहुत सारे ऐसे news channels हैं, YouTube channels हैं, which have good number of followings from Kannadigas. तो similarly वहाँ पे बहुत सारे यूपी में होंगे जो हिंदी के followers हैं. And you cannot say somebody from Kannada news channels should collaborate with somebody in UP. So उनका fan base same है. मतलब ये चीज़ maybe they should talk about same issue from multiple platforms so that it reaches more and more people who speak in more and more languages. It doesn't mean that you have to be in one platform and say same old thing, is what I feel.
Can I add on? Yeah, if I may add on. So, because we come from people's movements background, you know, whether it's journalists or any kind of human rights defenders, environmental defenders, even lawyers, they are being targeted by the state. And therefore, if you all come together, it's easy to आपको कुचलना, ठीक है? तो as long as you are different movements, you are disparate, you are highly localized, but sometimes with a common minimum program. Like parties come together to form a government, so there could be like a common minimum program and therefore collaboration, but never one platform, because then you can be finished so easily.
Hi, good evening. One small question about tagline. ಈ ದಿನ ನ್ಯಾಯ, ಸತ್ಯ, ನ್ಯಾಯ, ಪ್ರೀತಿ. ಸತ್ಯ ನ್ಯಾಯ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಓಕೆ, ಪ್ರೀತಿ ಯಾಕೆ? ಅಂದರೆ ಓಕೆ, ನನ್ನ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ, ಈ ಟ್ಯಾಗ್ಲೈನಲ್ಲಿ ಅದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ವರ್ಡ್ಸ್ ಇಲ್ವಾ? ಪ್ರೀತಿ ಅಂದರೆ ಸತ್ಯ ನ್ಯಾಯ, ಪ್ರೀತಿ ಸೂಟ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಈ ಪ್ರೀತಿ ಟ್ಯಾಗ್ಲೈನ್ ಒಳಗೆ ಬಂದರೆ ಎಡವಟ್ಟಾಗುವ ಸಾಧ್ಯತೆ ಇಲ್ವಾ?
ಓಕೆ, ಇದು ನಮ್ದಾದ್ರಿಂದ ನಾನೇ ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ. ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಕಾರಣ ಇದೆ. ಇದನ್ನು ನಾವು ನಮ್ಮ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಸ್ ಅಂತ ಕರೆದಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ನಮಗೊಂದು ವಿಷನ್ ಮಿಷನ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಇದೆ, ಹಾಗೆ ನಮ್ಮ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಸು. ಸತ್ಯ ಯಾಕೆ ಅಂತಂದರೆ ಅಸತ್ಯ ಹೆಚ್ಚಾಗಿದೆ ಅನ್ನೋ ಕಾರಣಕ್ಕೆ, ಸುಳ್ಳು ಹೆಚ್ಚಾಗಿದೆ ಅನ್ನೋಕ್ಕೆ. ನ್ಯಾಯ ಯಾಕೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಅನ್ಯಾಯ ಇದೆ ಮತ್ತು ಶೋಷಿತ ಸಮುದಾಯಗಳಿಗೆ, ಬಡವರಿಗೆ, ದಲಿತರಿಗೆ, ಆದಿವಾಸಿಗಳಿಗೆ ಅನ್ಯಾಯ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಅನ್ನೋ ಕಾರಣಕ್ಕೆ. ಪ್ರೀತಿ ಯಾಕೆ ಅಂದರೆ ದ್ವೇಷ ಹೆಚ್ಚಾಗ್ತಿದೆ ಅನ್ನೋ ಕಾರಣಕ್ಕೆ, ದ್ವೇಷ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಆ ದ್ವೇಷದ ಜಾಗದಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಪ್ರಜ್ಞಾಪೂರ್ವಕವಾಗಿ ನಾವು ಪ್ರೀತಿಯನ್ನು ಸ್ಥಾಪಿಸಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋ ಕಾರಣಕ್ಕೆ ಮನುಷ್ಯರ ನಡುವೆ ಪ್ರೀತಿ ಬೇಕು. ಸೋದರತೆ ಅಂತ ಇದನ್ನು ಕರಿಬೋದು ಅಂತ ಡಿಸ್ಕಷನ್ ಬಂತು ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ. ಅಂದರೆ ಫ್ರೆಟರ್ನಿಟಿ ಅನ್ನೋವಂಥ ಒಂದು ಇದು, ಅದು ಆ ಫ್ರೆಟರ್ನಿಟಿ ಅನ್ನೋ ಪದ ಕೂಡ ಅಷ್ಟು ಸೂಟಬಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಮತ್ತು ಸೋದರತೆ ಕೂಡ ಅಷ್ಟು ಸರಿಯಾದ ಪದ ಅಲ್ಲ. ಸಂವಿಧಾನದಲ್ಲಿ ಫ್ರೆಟರ್ನಿಟಿನ ಇದು ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಬಾಬಾ ಸಾಹೇಬರು ಈ ಫ್ರೆಟರ್ನಿಟಿನ ನಾನು ಬುದ್ಧ ಧರ್ಮದ ಮೈತ್ರಿಯಿಂದ ತಗೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಅಂತ. ಸೊ ಮೈತ್ರಿ ಇನ್ನೂ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿರುವಂಥ ಪದ, ಪ್ರೀತಿ ಅದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿರೋ ಪದ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಅದಿರಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ನಮಗನ್ಸಿದೆ ಮತ್ತು ಅದು ಸರಿಯಾಗಿದೆ ಅಂತ ನಮಗೆ ಖಚಿತವಾದ ಅನಿಸಿಕೆ.
ಮತ್ತೆ ಪ್ರೀತಿ ಎಷ್ಟು ಮುಖ್ಯ ಅಂದರೆ, ಡು ನಾಟ್ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಆಫ್ ಪ್ರೀತಿ ಆಸ್ ವೆರಿ ವೀಕ್. ಪ್ರೀತಿ ಇಸ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಂಗ್, ಪ್ರೀತಿ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಬಿ radical. A kind of radical love can only change the world and bring us closer. So I think Idina is talking of a radical kind of love, not the ಈ ಥರ ಮಾತ್ರ. ಇದು ಸಹ ಮುಖ್ಯ, ತುಂಬ ಮುಖ್ಯ ನಮ್ಮ ಜೀವನಕ್ಕೆ. But a kind of radical love that even Baba Saheb and Gandhiji both, everybody who worked on the constitution brought that radical love for a kind of new India that they imagined. And that is the preeti we should carry, like a flame, not weak, but like a flame.
Hi, my question is for Zubair sir. Since we spoke about the mainstream media being agenda driven today, but I think there is equal or greater damage being done by the foot soldiers on social media platforms rather than the mainstream media. Because if mainstream media crosses the line, there are independent media houses that catches them. But these people, especially the handles, right-wing handles, go untouched. So do you think, or what do you feel about having a coordinated platform to counter that, wherein it may be paid or unpaid, to have a proper platform where we have foot soldiers of our own to counter those people? So what are your views on that?
There are two foot soldiers. You're talking about two foot soldiers. One is foot soldiers of BJP, जो regularly put out misinformation, amplify disinformation, and also fake news, and also hateful content, जो उनको पार्टी को promote करता है. But as I said, I mean, during my previous discussion, they get enough money to do all this. I mean, it is not agenda driven. ऐसा नहीं है कि वो भी नफरत करते हैं. अगर इंडिविजुअली अगर बात करें तो वो भी मतलब आई हैव मेट one or two people who are very good to me. I mean, they have been abusing me on Twitter. बट ऐसे ही एक दो बार मुलाकात हो गई, चेन्नई एयरपोर्ट में एक बार हुआ था और कहीं और बार हुआ था. दे वर वेरी गुड टू मी. तो बट अगेन यही है कि दे हैव मॉनिटरी बेनिफिट्स, उसमें वो करने में उनको पैसा मिलता है, उनको पैसा कहा जाता है करने के लिए. और एक चीज़ है कि अदरवाइज मतलब दूसरी जगह फॉर एग्जांपल आई एज ऑल्ट न्यूज़ मी पार्ट ऑफ being part of alt news, I regularly counter them, and which is one of the reason they also hate me. It is not just because they don't just hate me because I write fact checks. It is not just because I am a Muslim. It is also because I go under the skin and also just try to bring them down, saying, okay, whatever you've shared, we just don't publish fact checks. After publishing fact checks, I co-tweet them, I call them out saying, what you've done is wrong, and I also make sure their followers know what they've done is wrong, which is more triggering to them, and which is why they hate probably me more. Not just because, obviously they hate me also for my religion, but also for, it's easier for them to target, say, alt news, not because the work what alt news has been doing, but it is easier for their audience, for them to convince their audience, saying, okay, जुबेर इज पार्ट ऑफ ऑल्ट न्यूज, जो एक मुसलमान है, एंड मुसलमान तो ऐसे ही होते हैं. दिस इज व्हाट मतलब हैज बीन देयर ट्रेंड. But then we have been countering them. But yeah, as you said, we need more and more people. But also the problem is, see, in my case, not sure if you know, there are around 12 FIRs against me in UP, in Delhi, in Chhattisgarh, mostly from the BJP ruled states. I am very thankful that my organization stands behind me. There are activists who stands behind me. There are lawyers who fight cases for me pro bono. कभी-कभी पे करना पड़ता है, बट देन या मैक्सिमम जो बड़े बड़े लॉयर्स हैं दे डू इट प्रो बोनो. देयर आर एक्टिविस्ट हु प्रोटेस्ट फॉर मी, हु स्टैंड बाय मी. देयर आर सोशल मीडिया फॉलोअर्स हु ट्रेंड आई स्टैंड विद जुबैर. सबके साथ ऐसा नहीं हो सकता. देयर आर, फॉर एग्जांपल इन माय ऑर्गेनाइजेशन व्हेन आई वाज अरेस्टेड इन 2022, nobody know this, like they know कि I have gone through a lot of trouble. They've taken me from one UP, one cell to another cell, one jail to another jail. But in the process, I mean, why did I come out so soon? That is within 25 days. It is all because of my organization. For example, Pratik Sinha was the one who was trying to arrange lawyers. Matlab, they didn't even know where I'll be taken from. For example, I was in UP, in Hathras, and then from Hathras they used to take me to Sitapur, and from there Lakhimpur Kheri, and from there back to Delhi. I mean, I was not allowed to say this to my lawyer because I was not allowed to do a phone call. So somehow I used to manage, and whenever I used to get chances, I used to somehow give this information to either to my lawyer or to my colleague, that is Pratik Sinha or Nirjari Sinha. And within say few hours, they could arrange a lawyer, they could arrange activists, they could arrange people who can give surety to me in the court. And this is not possible for normal people, which is probably why people are also, for example, the recent FIR against me was because I exposed somebody who has been doing hate speeches. And there was an FIR against him, but no action, I thought. And then there is action against me, there was an FIR against me, there is a sedition case against me. I was invited to the police station multiple times. The police had come down to my house to arrest me. So, which is what they want to do it, right? I mean, they don't want people like me and many others who would raise these issues on social media platform. So, which is how they were trying to stop, which is why people are also scared. I could do this not because I'm strong, it is because my organization is strongly behind me. I could do that, but not everybody can afford that.
Actually, Idina is such a network in which we want to organize thousands of media volunteers whom we call citizen journalists to run campaign like that and to challenge the ecosystem which is spreading hate. So Idina is actually trying to do that. Unfortunately, we are unable to find a suitable coordinator who can do that in South Canara. If you can volunteer, we would be very happy. Number one. Number two, but still I agree with whatever Vidya said previously, that coordination and coordinated network is very much necessary, but coming to and identifying within a single platform is not a good idea. But we are building a very wide network of people who will counter the right-wing ecosystem.